Picture this. You came to Morocco for seafood, sand, and sunlight. A few hours ago, this was supposed to be a travel story. Lobsters in the rocks, spider crabs under the ledge, a desert road behind you, the Atlantic in front of you. Then the tide starts coming back. The wind picks up too, cold, salty, cutting through your shirt like a knife. You glance at your phone, 1 bar of signal, then none. The sand behind you stretches empty, no cars, no people, no signs. This was not supposed to be survival. This was supposed to be a day of easy catches and good photos. But right now, the ocean is breathing faster, and the desert is watching, and you are standing in the middle, wondering when the trip ended and the trap began. This is Dakhla, southern Morocco, the place where the Sahara Desert kisses the Atlantic Ocean. It is a contradiction, really. One side, golden sand dunes, dry wind that whispers through the grains, heat that lingers even as the sun dips low. The other side, crashing waves, wet rocks covered in green algae, pools of water that glint like glass in the sunlight. It looks like a postcard. It feels like a dream, until you step on that first slippery rock and the wind carries the sound of the tide getting closer. Your boots squelch in the wet sand, leaving footprints that the ocean will erase in minutes. You can see your car in the distance, a tiny black dot on the desert road, but the distance feels farther than it did an hour ago. The salt stings your lips. The wind makes your ears ring. And somewhere under the water, something moves. Not a monster, not a threat yet, but a reminder, this place is not yours. It is a meeting point of two giants, and you are just a visitor who stayed too long. If this were you, would you still walk farther out for one more shot, one more lobster, one more strange thing under the rocks? The ocean does not trap you by taking everything away. It traps you by giving you just enough to stay 5 more minutes. You spot it first, a flash of red under a ledge, a flicker of a claw. A lobster, big too, bigger than your hand. You lean down, your hand hovering over the water. The tide is still low enough to reach, but you can feel it in your bones. It is coming back. But the lobster is there, waiting. And then you see another one, smaller, but still worth the effort. And a conch shell, half buried in the sand. The kind that might hold a pearl. You tell yourself 5 more minutes. Just 5. You will grab the lobster, check the conch, and then head back. But 5 minutes turns into 10. 10 turns into 15. The water creeps up your ankles, cold and sharp. You do not notice. Not until you stand up and realize the path you came from is now covered in shallow water. The footprints are gone. The rocks you used to balance on are now slippery with seaweed. The ocean did not force you to stay. It gave you a reason to want to. You have 2 choices. Option 1, keep going. The lobster is still under the ledge, its claw twitching. The conch is right there, waiting to be opened. 5 more minutes, and you could have a story to tell, maybe even a pearl. You are so close. Option 2, turn around. Walk back through the shallow water, even if it soaks your boots. Abandon the lobster, abandon the conch, abandon the photos you wanted to take. Admit that you stayed too long, and that safety is more important than a good catch. But instinct does not wait for a perfect answer. The knees bend. One hand goes down against the rock, rough and sharp against your palm. The other reaches toward the dark space under the ledge. The water is colder now, up to your calves. You can hear the waves getting louder, crashing against the rocks farther out. But you do not stop. Not yet. Because the ocean knows temptation is a better trap than force. And right now, you are falling for it. Would you leave empty-handed? Or would you take 5 more minutes for the thing you came here to find? The rock is cold against your cheek as you lean in, trying to get a better look at the lobster. Your breath fogs up in the cool air. Then you feel it, a vibration. Soft at first, then stronger. Something is moving under the rock next to you. You freeze. Slowly you pull back, your hand still gripping the rock. And then you see it, a leg, long and thick, covered in hard spiny shell. It moves slowly, deliberate, like a piece of metal bending. Another leg follows. Then another, a spider crab, bigger than a dinner plate, its legs spanning wide, its shell dark and rough like weathered stone. It is not chasing you. It does not need to. Your body shifts back before the mind can measure the distance. Instinct, pure and simple. Your foot lands on a patch of green algae, slimy and wet. For a split second, you lose your balance. Your knee slams into the rock, sharp pain shooting up your leg. You grab onto the ledge, your fingers scraping against the rough surface, tiny cuts opening up. The crab does not move. It just sits there, its eyes watching, its legs twitching, but the damage is done. You are off balance. Your knee hurts. And when you look back, the path you came from is gone, replaced by a sheet of water. The waves now crashing closer than ever. Here is the part most people miss. In a place like this, the danger does not arrive as a monster. It arrives as a few inches of water in the wrong place. The tide is not a wall of water crashing down. It is a slow, steady creep, layer by layer. It takes back the coast. First, the waterline covers your footprints, erasing any trace of where you have been. Then, the small tide pools connect, turning isolated puddles into a single, slippery sheet. Next, the low-lying channels between the rocks disappear, forcing you to climb higher, to balance on rocks that are getting wetter by the minute. Then the waves start to cross the line you thought was safe, splashing over the rocks, soaking your pants, making every step a gamble. Finally, the car in the distance is blurred by sea spray and fading light, the desert road now a hazy line. You realize it too late. The map you were following is gone. The coast is changing, minute by minute, and you are not keeping up. The wind is stronger now, carrying sand from the desert, stinging your eyes. Your hands are shaking, not from fear, but from cold, from pain, from the realization that you are not in control here. This is not a static place. This is a moving trap. The crab is still there. The route back is getting thinner. Which one matters now? Shallow water feels safe because the brain can measure it. Ankle deep, knee deep, not deep enough to drown, but the body does not need deep water to fail. You climb down from the rocks, your boots sinking into the wet sand. The water is only up to your knees, clear in some spots, murky in others, stirred up by the rising tide. You take a step forward and your foot hits something soft, something that moves. You freeze. The water is murky here, too dark to see what is below. But you remember the stories. Electric rays hidden in the sand, their bodies flat and camouflaged, waiting for something to step on them. Some can deliver a shock up to 220 volts, enough to make your muscles lock. Your knees give out, your breath catch. You do not see it. You cannot, but you feel it. A tingle in your feet, a sense that something is watching from below. The wind howls and the waves crash against the rocks behind you. You want to run, but you cannot move, afraid that one wrong step will be the one that triggers it. Shallow water is a lie. It looks safe. It feels safe, but under the surface, it is hiding something that can take away your control in a split second. And in a place like this, losing control is the same as losing your life. You have two choices, and neither is good. Option 1. Step through the shallow water. It is the shortest path back, the one that might get you to the car before the tide gets any higher. But the water is murky, full of hidden risks. Electric rays, sharp rocks, slippery sand. One wrong step, one misjudgment, and you could be stuck, or worse. Option 2. Climb back up the rocks. The route is longer, steeper, and the rocks are now covered in seaweed, so slippery you can barely hold on. The wind is stronger, pushing you back, making every climb a struggle. Your palms are already cut and bleeding, the salt water stinging every wound. Your knee throbs and your boots are heavy with water. The sun is setting now, the light fading fast. Soon, you will not be able to see the rocks, will not be able to tell the difference between safe ground and a drop into deeper water. You feel your body growing cold, your teeth chattering. Your backpack feels heavier, the water in your boots sloshing with every move. You take a deep breath and the salt burns your throat. This is the point where survival stops being about choice and starts being about instinct. But instinct can fail you, and right now, both paths look like a death sentence. Would you trust the shallow water, or would you trust the rocks that already made you fall? The Atlantic is taking back the coast. The Sahara is taking back the tracks. One erases the rocks, the other erases the road. You turn around, and the car is gone. Not really gone, but hidden behind a wall of sea spray and fading light. The desert road, once a clear path, is now blurred by sand. The tire tracks you followed earlier, erased by the wind. You take out your phone again, pressing the screen over and over, but it is still no service, no calls. No GPS. No way to tell anyone where you are. The tide is now up to your thighs, cold and relentless. The waves crash over your legs, pulling you forward, trying to drag you in to the deeper water. You hold onto a rock, your fingers white with effort. Behind you, the desert stretches empty, endless. No shelter, no water, no signs of life. If you turn inland, you will be walking into a place where the sun rises hot and the night falls cold, where you can get lost in minutes and never be found. If you stay here, the tide will keep rising, covering the rocks, pulling you out to sea. You are trapped between two giants. The ocean is hungry, the desert is empty, and neither cares if you survive. The wind carries the sound of the waves and the whisper of the sand, and for a moment, you realize this is what it feels like to be invisible, to be a tiny, fragile thing caught between two forces that are older and stronger than anything you can imagine. This is your final choice. The Atlantic is rising behind you. The Sahara is empty in front of you. The last light is sliding off the rocks. One path puts your feet back into the water, crossing the flooded rocks, fighting the waves, hoping that the electric ray is not waiting for you, hoping that you do not slip, hoping that the car is still there when you reach the other side. It is the faster path, but it is also the riskier one. One wrong move, and the ocean will take you. The other path puts your body into the desert, walking into the empty sand, following the faint trace of what might be a road, hoping that you do not get lost, hoping that you have enough water, hoping that the night does not freeze you before help can come. It is the slower path, but it is also the one that keeps you out of the water. You look at the ocean, then at the desert. You feel the cold water on your legs, the wind on your face, the pain in your hands and knees. You know that one choice could save you. The other could kill you. There is no time to think, no time to hesitate. The tide is rising, the sand is shifting, the light is gone. This is your final choice. The Atlantic is rising behind you. The Sahara is empty in front of you. The last light is sliding off the rocks. One path puts your feet back into the water. The other puts your body into the desert. What do you do?